Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield video. So today, like the title says, we're going to be examining all of the legendary weapon traits you can get in the game. So currently in game, like with Fallout and 76 and 4, Bethesda added a system where weapons and armor can roll with legendary perks, and they can roll up to 3 tiers, with one perk being blue, 2 perks being purple, and 3 perks being legendary. Or yeah. Now today we're only going to be focusing on the weapons because it's a lot easier to test, and generally speaking, like armor in this game is kind of, it all does the job. So the way I've kind of set up this little demonstration is I have spawned in, I believe, 28 Beowulfs. They all have the exact same damage. Now, they may have different attachments, but their damage is going to be the exact same, with the exception of one, which we'll see in a minute. That's just how the modification is. So we're going to basically go through all of them, and we're going to try them out. We're playing on very hard. I have God mode enabled just so I don't die, and I've spawned in some 6 ecliptic enemies that we're going to be basically showcasing the weapons on. So with these legendaries, as you can see, there's some simple ones where it shows 10% damage against humans. Like, okay, that's a pretty straightforward one. But then there's certain ones like this one here, Berserker. You do more damage the less armor you have. So for ones that, are simple ones like the damage to humans or damage to all targets, we're going to be shooting these ecliptics. And when there is situations where it might be require some other enemies, we're going to, So we'll start off with this Beowulf. So I've got, playing on very hard, I've got numbers turned on. So it says the base damage is 38. So just to confirm, I'm going to really quickly, favorite this one. So we're going to just shoot the enemy once. One of these enemies once. As you can see, it does 24 damage to the body. Currently. And then we're going to check a headshot. And 48 damage to the head. That's just your standard Beowulf. Now we're going to check the anti-personnel. Same enemy. So 27 damage to the body. And 53 to the head. So yeah, the straight 10%. Nothing really fancy about this. Now, I don't have any perks affecting anything in combat. The only thing I have is this one here, which increases your accuracy and basically makes it so enemies can be disarmed. So it's not going to affect the damage. So yeah, this one, straightforward, gets the job done. It's not the worst, not the best. So next we're going to be taking a look at bashing. So before we put on the bashing, we're going to really quickly punch one of these guys. So a bash does 8, as you can see. Now, I don't think we can bash headshot in this game. So bashing deals double damage. So realistically, we should hit for 16. Yep, we do. Okay, pretty straightforward. Oh, you can crit. So critting is possible. Okay. So next we're going to look at is the Berserker. Now, the Berserker deals more damage the less armor you have. So currently, I am wearing a set of armor that's pretty powerful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my armor. So I'm just wearing resort wear that gives me we're going naked here. Now, as you see, the damage of this weapon has jumped up to 53. So we're going to check how much it does a single hit. So 35 to the body. And hello? Not so. 70 to the head. So it's a bit of a jump. It's not a huge jump. It's like what is it? Starts off at 24, 35. Probably like a 40% increase in damage, which is quite good, but realistically. So we're going to put on some armor real quick just to see how that damage changes. So with a single piece of armor, the damage drops down. So it says 49 there. Take it off, it says 57. If I put on a second piece, it drops down to 42. So realistically, this is it's a bit crappy. This was more popular in Fallout when you might wear light armor or no armor at all. But sadly in Starfield, unless you're fighting in your nude, which in some situations that's not really possible, you're kind of, you know, you are. Next, we're going to look at Cornered. Cornered is damage increases and has health decreases. Now this one's going to be a little trickier, so we're going to bear with me real quick. I'm going to lose some health. Alright, so that was actually quite tricky to do. So basically, I have a regen which protects me. And currently speaking, I need to... So, I'm sitting at about... Ooh, yeah, I'm sitting at probably like 2% health. And currently, when I equip the weapon, the damage jumps up to 57. Now, basically, the way this worked in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, a lot of my kind of referencing will be Fallout 76 style stuff. So, Cornered was called Bloodied, and basically, the less health you had, the more damage you did. And it capped out at, I want to say, 75% damage initially. So this jump here, just going off of the stats, so it's almost half. So what is it? Yeah, almost a little bit under half. I'd say it's probably 30%. Now I also have God mode off, so I'm trying not to die. So damage is 31, 34. Obviously I'm not in the optimal range. Get as close as possible while trying not to die. So 35 damage to the body, 69 to the head. So all in all, it seems to be pretty much on par with Berserkers. Which again, if you spec your character correctly, like if you spec your character correctly with the right weapon, that extra damage is going to be quite good if you're playing that glass cannon role. But obviously it's not going to be for everyone, and it can be kind of tedious. Like for me myself, I don't like having low health. I tried it in Fallout 76 and the damage is good, but it's just not viable. Alright, so quick maths puts both this and Berserker at the most, like the kind of the lowest point. So for Berserker, when you have absolutely no armor on, and then Cornered when you're sitting at around less than 5% health, it's a 1.5 times damage increase. So it could be very viable depending on, like, if you're playing a kind of on a very hard difficulty and you kind of have some of the god tier snipers, it could be very useful. But realistically, neither of these kind of shine in the kind of the day-to-day of you know, it's no Bloodied in Fallout 76. Next, we'll take a look at Corrosive. Randomly deals corrosive damage and reduce the target's armor. Now, the corrosive damage is going to be nice because it's going to be a damage over time, which we'll check with the damage tick. But the reducing their armor is another one that's quite useful. Now, this is obviously dependent on what we're shooting at. So we're going to check the damage real quick. So 20 does damage at 24. The damage at 24, we're trying to get it to... There we go, there's the... Is it ticking? You read that exactly. Okay, randomly. Okay, we gotta keep shooting until it hits. There we go. There's the corrosive damage. Now, as you can see, the damage itself, it increases from 24 to 28. So that's an extra... What's that? 4 to 28 goes... Maybe like an extra 6%. Now, the corrosive damage itself is kind of minimal, which is pretty interesting. So we'll keep shooting. So we can proc the corrosive damage. Here we go. Corrosive damage procs. And it's affecting them, but it's more of a debuff than an actual damage over time. As you can see, that it's gone again. There it is when it hits. Okay, so when it hits, it seems to actually do. It's not a damage over time, what I thought it was. So try and get it to proc. Come on. There you go. So when it hits, it does 57 damage. So it basically does just over double damage. So it's a 20 with the 24. So yeah, so it does just a little bit over double damage. Okay, so the base damage, the buff when it procs, so when the poison hits, is it's hitting for 2.3 times damage of your initial shot, which is quite good. And then obviously once they have been hit by it, it increases your shot damage by just over 10%. So this would be quite handy on a sniper, because that double, like 2.3 times damage would be very useful. Now the only thing is, it's only a chance, as you see here. Sometimes it procs, sometimes it doesn't. It's big. This is one of the perks where it's not a primary perk, it's a secondary. Some of these perks will be primary, some will be secondary, some will be tertiary. So it's not a bad perk to get on a sniper, you know, as a kind of a second or third perk. All in all, it's pretty decent. Kind of, I was expecting a little bit more of, I thought it was going to be damage over time as opposed to just flat damage, which is interesting. Anyway, we move on to the next one. Alright, so the next one here is a pretty simple one. Deals 30% crippling. Deals 30% damage on the next attack after hitting a limb. So we're going to shoot them in the leg. In the leg. Although that was a limb. Okay, what? Is the head the only limb? Okay, so interesting. I have it equipped, don't I? Oh no, I have anti-personnel equipped. That would be right long. So crippling. So it should be a simple one to test. Hit them in the leg. 30 damage. Okay, so that's just going to be a flat 30 damage. Okay, we'll try. Base damage is 25. You hit them in the leg, and then the body, it jumps up. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. With the headshot, what is the base headshot? Let me see. Base headshot's 47. If I can hit the guy. So yeah, 30% increase. It's not a bad one. It's, if you can hit your shots, this is definitely one that would be quite viable on well, just, yeah, on kind of these. But realistically, I feel like for a lot of people, you're either going to be rocking hard hitting rifles that kind of one shot, or you're going to be kind of rapid firing. And with rapid firing, it can be kind of tricky to hit the target. But I mean, limbs is, you know, you don't always hit the head. But anyway, we're going to check the next one now. Alright, so the next one we're going to take a look is Demoralizing. Now, this is a kind of a weird one. So, small chance to demoralize a target. So, they don't specify what demoralize means, but generally speaking, well, I mean, if you know what the word means, it usually means they're going to run away. They're going to lose morale. So, we're going to focus on one of these guys when my vision stops blurring. And we're going to see if we can... So, ideally, he should, at some point... Yeah, so he is demoralized, panicking. Basically, yeah, he just drops to his hunkers. I'm going to test that again. See if demoralized just means they drop to their knees. Okay, that guy is, yeah, he is panicking too, and he is gone. So it's not a bad perk necessarily. But if you've had any of the encounters in I was going to say Fallout, sorry, I've been watching the Fallout TV show. These guys are going to run away and they're going to come back, you know, so it's just, you're basically, you're kind of, yeah, you're just postponing the inevitable. So he's going to run away now. And again, it's random. I don't like these perks where you have to kind of, there's a random chance. If you're going to hit me with a random chance, I want it to be a substantial buff, not guy runs away for 5 seconds. Anyway, we're going to jump to the next one now. Alright, so this one we've got the Disassembler. Deals 20% increased damage against robots, so it's going to do what it says in the tin. We've got some nice little doggies here. We're going to, just to confirm, we're going to shoot one of these bad boys. Same damage, 24. We shoot these guys, jumps up to 35. So it's just, it's a straight. Again, it's not a bad one to have. Like, I know that when I used to play 76, and because 76 had, like, the various kind of daily missions, it was handy to have. If you ever come across, like, again, this is one of the ones where this is a primary perk. So, like, if you get good, like, let's say, for instance, your favorite weapon in the game is, I don't know, a Beowulf. And you have your main Beowulf, and then you decide, oh, you know, I'd love to have, you know, maybe one for robots. And you get one with good perks. You know, it might be something to keep, you never know. There could be a DLC out there where we fight robots, but generally speaking, it's kind of meh. So we're gonna move on to the next one now. Alright, so here we go. We're on to this one now. This is the explosive. So, explosive rounds randomly switches to explosive rounds. Again, the randomness kind of gets me because explosive rounds was a big thing in Fallout 76. It basically was kind of the reason where legacies came out of, because certain weapons, like energy weapons, used to basically become god tier. So the randomly, we're going to have to see. So the damage seems to be the same. There we go, there's an explosive, okay. So we'll try that again. It looked like it was instant crit. Again, it's the randomness is kind of what gets me. Okay, so hit there. Explosive. So it staggers them slightly. Okay. So the explosive does the same damage. It does the same damage as like the base round, but it has, because it has like an explosive, like you see there, I can fire it on the ground. And it basically has like a radius, like an explosive round, which makes sense. Again, the fact that it's random is a bit annoying. Like if you spam fire, it's kind of more, you know, like it's sometimes it's every 10 shots, sometimes every 20 shots. Again, it's just a weird one. I feel like a lot of these perks, Bethesda saw how OP they were in 76, and they're like, we can't have that situation again. Which I can understand, like, the meta of 76 is a bit insane. But at the same time, it's a single-player game, you know? Like, why? Anyway, on to the next one on the list. Alright, so next on the list, this is a simple one. This just basically doubles the magazine. So base one is 30, increase it to 60. This is probably one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best primaries you can get, just because extra mag is very nice. Exterminator is another one, 30% extra damage against aliens. I feel like we don't really need to test this. I will test it on players or NPCs just to showcase that it doesn't work. You never know, though. Sometimes Bethesda can, does a no effect on human targets. All in all, extended mag, very good. Exterminator, maybe if you're exploring, might be useful. Frenzy, now this is another one that's going to be interesting, much like the Demoralize, so has a small chance to frenzy a target. Now Frenzy usually means they're going to go crazy, so let's see if we can make these guys turn on each other. So we're gonna have to hit one, 2, 3, come on. Are we going to get the effect? Oh, no. Oh, wait. Okay, so it did happen, but they turned on him, but he still kind of focused me. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. So Frenzy, when you make an enemy Frenzy, he will still keep shooting you, but the enemies will briefly shoot him. Just trying to proc it again. Come on. There you go. Okay, they managed to kill him. I was gonna check, because sometimes I was thinking maybe the enemy might not shoot him when he's down. Get it one more time. Don't hide in the kitchen. Yeah, all in all, the chances of it happening are pretty rare. And when it does happen, like, it's not like you would expect. Like, I was expecting the enemy to turn and fight his teammates, but he still keeps firing on you. And only, it seems like only specific enemies, like, if that enemy you have frenzied is in the sightline of another enemy, he's going to shoot him. But as you've seen there, a lot of them won't stop shooting you, so it's a bit of a crappy one. Anyway, on to the next one. All right, so next on the list is Furious. Now this is one of the better ones. So Furious, each consecutive hit deals more damage. So we're gonna get the calculator out for this. If I remember correctly, in Fallout 76, I want to say each hit was an extra 5% damage up to a max of 20. So we're gonna check real quick. So the first hit does 26, second hit does 26. I don't have the right gun equipped. God damn it. Yeah, there we go. So first hit does 24, does 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, and it seems like 32 is the percent, or the max. Alright, so quick maths. It caps out at 30. It gives a 1.3 buff. Now, obviously, if you miss, like I did, you have to kind of reset. If we just... 1.3, it's not bad. It's definitely a lot better on a, it would be far better on an automatic weapon, a weapon where you're kind of going to be firing a lot. But all in all, it's not a bad one. I would definitely recommend this if you have some sort of fast-firing weapon with a lot of ammo. Like this on the micro gun would be very, very powerful. Anyway, on to the next one. Alright, so now we're looking at hand loading. So hand loading, volatile rounds, they're designed to pack a bigger punch but aren't as stable and can fail. So let's check this out. So I don't think I've used this perk very much. 27, 18, 18, 24, 24, 26, 41, 32, 17. Ah, okay, so let my vision come back. So it seems like when it comes to fail, 36, 36 and 10 seems to be the highest number so far. So 41 looks like the highest number. See if I can get that number again. 44 is the highest number. Okay. No, that was a headshot. Just try it. Why is he hiding in the bathroom? Hello. Okay, so it seems like the highest is 44, which means there's a damage increase of 1.8 times, so almost 2 times the damage. But it also means that it can go down to 10, which means that that the damage can drop. So you have a chance of doing 0.4 of your usual damage. So you basically can do 60% less damage, or you can do upwards of almost 200% damage, which it's not a bad one. Like, this is definitely probably one of the better ones, because overall the ignore them. Overall, the damage number seems to be above the base damage of 24. It's not a bad one. When it came to failing, I was kind of expecting something more like the gun would just fail to fire, like, you know, it would jam. But I don't know if this game has mechanics for jamming. Anyway, on to the next one. Alright, so this one's a pretty simple one. This is a really good one to get on snipers. Hitman, 15% damage while aiming. It's going to be pretty straightforward. If you get close enough, we hit them in the body. 26. I have the goddamn wrong one on. God damn it, I do apologize. Hitman, real quick. So 24 damage, 27. I'm gonna have to do a headshot. So a headshot is going to be 46. Ooh, that was actually quite nice. That was, wait, I crit. There's non-crit headshots. 46. 54. 53. So all in all, it's pretty decent. It's really good for a kind of a... This is Probably better for a scope Beowulf than an actual sniper. I mean, the damage increase is nice, but there's probably, like, better ones. So next on the list, after this one, we have the Incendiary. Randomly deals Incendiary damage. So it's going to be interesting, again, to see if this means it's going to be like the last one, or there's going to be a burn damage. Alright, let's see if we can burn some people. Okay, there's the burn. And they take 14 damage per tick, and it seems to tick 4 times. Let me try that again. Okay, again, the randomness is kind of one of the biggest issues with this. I should have used a smaller gun. You think with God mode the effects would not be as frequent? Come on, set on fire. As you can see, the chance of burning them is pretty meh, to be honest with you. See if we can get a burn. Okay, there we go. It ticks once, ticks twice, ticks 3 times, 4, 5. 5 ticks at 15 damage. So just a little under, like, what is that? 30% increased damage when it does proc. And then ticks up 5 times. Which means you get an extra, what is that? 30, 60, 90. Extra 150% damage over the course of 5 seconds. Again, if it was a constant thing, hell yeah, extra damage over time is, yeah, really good. But as you can see, the randomness, it's just not worth it, honestly. Anyway, on to the next one. Alright, so now we're on to the heavy hitter. This is Instigating, deals double damage to targets at full health. Now, this one is probably one of the best in Fallout 76. This was one of the best for hard-hitting sniper rifles, like the railgun, like the sniper rifle, plasma rifle, stuff like that. So we should see double damage. Hit one of these targets. 47. 48. As close as possible. Hello. No, you're all... I need one of you guys. 49. So yeah, so it does what it says in the tin. Double damage. But then the issue is, once you've shot them once, the damage kind of trails off. So this is really good if you get yourself a really good rail weapon. Not a rail... Well, it is a rail gun, technically. The mag weapon. Or if you got yourself a hard target or a Varun rifle. Something that can hit really hard. This would be really good. But on kind of faster firing weapons or weapons where you usually need to fire, you know, at least 5 or 6 shots, it's not really worth it. So if you're putting on a sniper, 10 out of 10. Probably one of the best ones for sniper. But anything else, yeah, maybe not. Alright, so here we got another damage over time when Lacerate randomly applies a bleed to the target. Now just going off of the other ones, this is probably going to be pretty meh. Hit, see if we can cause the bleed. Is there going to be like some sort of an effect? Oh yeah, there's the bleed. Okay, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 ticks. So tick 14 times. Let's try and get that again. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 16. So 16 ticks at 9 damage. So that's, what is that? That's, again, quick maths. Base damage 24. Oh, that's the... So that's an increase of almost 30-ish%, like probably more so 40. So getting a 40% of your damage ticking over the course of what, like 16 ticks, which that equates to quite a bit. Like, it's actually quite impressive. I'm gonna see real quick how often it can be to proc the tick. So there we go. Like, so it does over, let me get another one. Okay, that one, there you go, ticks. So it does, over the course of its ticking, it does 640% of your base weapon damage, which is quite good. Which, yeah, honestly, compared to the other two, this is far more viable. Now, again, getting it to proc, it seems to be more reliably like, you know, available than. Hey, that's my recording area. Get out of there. Oh, this is the first time I showcased my house. You see, it's all a facade. There's just one area. This is an older save, though. Come on, can I try one more time? Yeah, all in all, it's not bad. It's probably one of the better ones. I definitely would like running this on again, some sort of fast-firing weapon. Like, that extra damage, like, that stacks, especially on, like, a minigun, or a microgun, or, like, a Kadama, or get it on, like, an extended mag assault rifle. Like, you're good to go. Alright, so we're gonna briefly talk about med theft. So med theft, basically, chance that humans drop extra med packs on death. Now, this was a kind of a hard one to test, because initially, when I was testing it, so I'm going to really quickly kill some of these enemies I'll talk about. Initially, when I was testing it, they don't seem to drop much. Now, I know it does work, because when I did my initial video covering the vampire, it did work. The only issue is it only seems to increase the chance on enemies that would already be known to drop med, like, packs. And, like, these enemies here, I found the Ecliptics don't usually drop meds, so it's a bit of a rip. It's not bad if you're using it over the course of playthrough. Like, if you get it on a good weapon, like, you know, a decent weapon, it's handy to have to kind of build up your stockpile over time. But it's definitely not going to be one where every time you kill an enemy, you're going to get access to meds. So anyway, on to the next one. Alright, so this is the only one on the list where it physically changes the damage. So it goes from 38 to 113. And 1-inch punch. Rounds fire like a shotgun spread. So we're going to really quickly fire it at the wall. As you can see, it fires 4 rounds. And if we get close enough to hit it... Okay, so each round does 19 damage. 18... kind of barrel stuff. 18 damage over 4. So that's doing 72 damage. So we're doing decent damage. I'm just testing. Come on, shoot you. So all in all, we're doing, like, again, this is really good if you get it on a kind of an automatic weapon. Just for the simple reason that well, yeah, you can just pump out rounds. So just looking at the stats, according to my calculator, and like I will say, my maths might be quite questionable. We're doing around 300% damage with each shot, which is quite good. Like, basically, you fire the 4 shots. Now, I will say, if you get this on an automatic weapon, the recoil kick is absolutely insane. So you have to keep that in mind when using it. But this is kind of, if you pair this with something like faster fire rate or explosive rounds, you get very similar to the kind of the 2-shot explosive rounds of Fallout 76. Now on to the next one. All right, so we got another one here. This is poison damage. Randomly deals poison damage, it slows the target. Another random one. We're gonna see how it works. Come on, hit the poison. Oh, there we go. No, that was a crit. That wasn't poison. Yeah, we'll try you. Do you want to get poisoned? Is he slowed? No, he's definitely not slowed. I'm hoping there's an effect to let me know they've been poisoned. Oh, there we go. Okay, they take 6 damage over time. See if I can proc that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 damage at 6 damage. So it does a quarter of your base damage over 13 ticks, and it slows them down. So it's not as good as Lacerate, but it slows the enemy, so it's... I would still prefer Lacerate, just because... Like, the slow is nice, but how slow are you? Oh yeah, no, he's slow. I mean, he can still shoot. This is the issue with, like, a lot of these enemies. Like, I'd say 80% of enemies in the game, at least combat enemies, like, you know, NPCs and stuff, non-alien enemies, they will always have guns, so it doesn't matter how slow they are. They'll still very much be able to... Look, he's taking poison damage. And he's able to beat the crap out of me. Now, the only way I could see them kind of making these kind of damages more useful if they make it so every time the tick happens, they get staggered. But, again, yeah, it is what it is. All in all, not a bad one. I'd still prefer Lacerate, so let's head on to the next one. Alright, so this one's pretty straightforward. It just, in rapid fire, increases the attack speed by 25%. So as you see here, the base fire rate on all of these is 50, and then this jumps it up to 62. So... Interestingly, if my maths is correct, 25%, well, yeah, it would be. So, again, not a bad one. Like, I mean, you can definitely, it's far better on automatic weapons. Again, this is probably one of the better ones. Now we have Shattering, break through even the strongest armor. Now this is going to be a tricky one to test for the simple reason this is anti-armor from Fallout. Now, if it's exactly how it operates in Fallout 76, basically, depending on how much armor an enemy has, you're going to do more damage. Now, enemies that don't have armor, you're going to not really see much of a return on it. So, one of the things we can see here is the base damage is 43. So, we're going to see if that damage number kind of shows. Okay, so yeah, you can see there... We're doing like 31 and 32, whereas if we were to make use of, let's say we just use, where's our normal, our modified 24. So we're doing an extra 75% more damage. Now this is only on these targets. Now one of the things, if you've been watching my if you watch some of my streams, I have a weapon I made on one of my playthroughs. And it's basically got Shattering, and it will absolutely decimate Terramorphs. Like, I'll actually really quickly spawn in a high-level Terramorph just to kind of highlight the kind of how good Shattering is, depending on it. Alright, so we got Reginald here. He's my little helper. So what we're going to do is, this guy is, he's going to have a lot of armor on him. So we're going to really quickly, we're going to showcase the standard one first, and we're going to compare the damage. We got our modified Beowulf there, and then we've got our Shattering there. So on this bad boy here, we shoot and we do a whole 22 damage on this Terramorph. Whereas on this one, we do 30. So as you can see, this changes depending on the enemy, but on these kind of harder hitting terramorphs, because the higher level, these sort of like shattering is only going to be kind of useful, or you're only going to notice it being useful when you start to play like on New Game Plus and the enemies start getting really high level. Like these sort of enemies here, anything that's kind of above level 60, 70, or in the case of the terramorphs, just all of them. They're just, yeah, this has always been my go-to, just because I loved anti-armor in Fallout 76. It's the sort of thing where if you need to pack a bigger punch, it'll do it, and then on targets where they don't have armor, it's kind of pointless anyway, because it'll go down quickly. So now we're going to check out the next one. Alright, so this one we're looking at skip shot. So every fourth shot fires 2 projectiles at once, so I'm assuming that's going to probably be double damage on the shot, but let's see. Every fourth shot, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so it's just a straight double damage. So every fourth shot's going to hit for double damage. 47, 47, 47, 47, and 47. So not bad, just a straight double damage. This would be very useful on a weapon with a very high fire rate. Yeah, it's actually quite useful. This is probably one of the more usable ones. So the next one we're going to test, we're going to have to jump briefly to into space. We're going to be taking a look at the Spacer Adept. This is a pretty simple one, 30% damage while in space, minus 15 while on a planet. So we're going to really quickly queue up these two, and we're going to just showcase them. So just to confirm, we've got our modified non-legendary variant. We're going to shoot this guy once, 23 damage. Now we've got the Spacer. The damage drops down to 20. So you're losing a little bit of damage. Obviously in space, you're going to be doing more damage. The thing is, I feel like with this weapon, I feel like Bethesda had a good idea with it initially. You know, they were like, oh, let's do something to kind of highlight. But the kind of the issue, the main kind of concern with it is that negative damage. Like, combat in space happens, but I'd say realistically, if you're just following the main story and the quest line, I'd say 30% of the time you're in space, the other 70% of the time you're not, so you're going to be getting that negative damage. Now, if you come across, if you get lucky enough to get it on a version of a gun you have, you know, it's like, say, for instance, if you had 2 of these Beowulfs, one had Spacer Adept and the other perks are good, then by all means, it's handy to have. 30% damage, easy GG, but like I said, if you're kind of using it as a daily driver, because getting a good legendary weapon in this game is very tricky, and getting a god tier one is even trickier. You know, like I had to spawn in, basically manually create my my kind of one I'm using currently in my stream. But yeah, so we're gonna jump on to the next one real quick. All right, so we're down to the last couple. So one of the last ones here is staggering. Small chance to stagger an enemy. This is going to kind of do what I kind of assume it's going to do. When you shoot it, the enemy is going to fall back. Oh, is it just that flinch? There we go. There's a stagger. There's no, that's not a stagger, that's just them. There's a stagger. So, not too bad. Now, one of the things I will say is when I spawned in some of these weapons, some of these perks may be more suited towards, more towards melee weapons. And this staggering one, I could see it being more useful for a melee weapon, because with melee weapons, you want to keep enemies staggered as much as possible. So, we've got 2 more weapons. The last one is Tesla. Rounds will sometimes emit electricity where they land and damage targets. This is going to probably be quite similar to... We're just going to shoot the ground. There you go, yeah. It just basically shocks the enemy when it does hit. And there you go, it hits them for 9 damage, 9, 18. So, the interesting thing is it seems to... If they walk on it, does it... Okay. So it's it's a poor man's Tesla pylon. When it does track, it does a little bit of damage. It hits them for 9 damage. Weirdly, it doesn't slow them. You kind of expect when they're shot to just drop to their knees. All in all, pretty lower on the kind of list in general, you know, like it's pretty meh. And then finally, the last legendary we have, which is called Titanium. So Titanium Premium build makes the weapon as light as a feather. So you'll notice the size of these vary from around between 4, we'll say the average is 3 kgs. This one drops it to 0.9. So this is pretty handy to have. It's not really a combat effective one. It's just kind of... This could be quite useful in survival mode when weapons are going to be a lot heavier. But yeah, so that was basically covering all the weapons. Brief little synopsis of like kind of what I would recommend. If you kind of want that extra damage and you like playing the glass cannon, like you're familiar with the bloody build, I would recommend Cornered. If you want... let's say, for instance, general around purpose, extended mags, and furious, and faster fire rate, rapid are probably up there for the best all-around ones. Shattering as well. And then obviously instigating if you have a sniper rifle. And yeah, probably skip shot. So let me know what you guys think of what I've kind of went through. What kind of, out of all the ones in the game, what's your favorite legendary trait or perk? And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Bit of a different video. I do apologize if the formatting was a bit weird. I know my math skills are not the best, but I tried. If I made any mistakes, let me know. I know some people will let me know. But yeah, I hope to in the future cover one on the kind of the armor and stuff. But generally with that one, it's a little bit more straightforward. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I will catch you guys in the next one.